Greetings, fellow captains, and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships with the Hivehound. And today we are going to be looking at the Tier 7 British cruiser, the Edinburgh, and how to play her and how to get the most out of this ship. Now, just for disclosure, I do have Bruce Fraser as my captain. He is rank 15, Legendary 2, and he's using Norman Scott, who's rank 16, Legendary 2 as well, for improved precision. And also I have Yamamoto for the increased armor penetration values. So we're on Neighbours. We have a match of Capture the Base. And, well, yeah, I'm going to talk you through exactly how I play the British cruisers and how I do really well. Alright, okay, this is a pretty good game, but I always do pretty good. I tend to not do anything under like 70,000 damage unless I get extremely unlucky, get spotted and one-shotted, which is, of course, one of the disadvantages of the British light cruisers. Their armor isn't exactly the best, so I've got reasonable concealment. I think my spot detectability range is about 11 kilometers, so I'm just going to peek out from behind this island and try and see what I can see what we can spot. I have slowed down, have put the ship in a stop because I'm expecting to see a battleship. We know there's only one destroyer, so our likelihood of us being seen by him is quite low. So what we're going to do, we could obviously fire up our smoke screen here, but we're not going to bother. We're going to save the smoke screen for when we need it. There's a low-lying island there which I can use for cover, so I'm just going to back up. The Goliath now has just fired a salvo, so we know we're safe for a couple of seconds at least. And yeah, we just back up behind the island, and we're just going to start absolutely littering him with our semi-armor piecing. So 3 grand in our first salvo, 2 in our second. Alright, we have used our smoke now because we're getting detected from elsewhere on the map, and it's definitely death by 1,000 cuts. Alright, yes, of course, you can absolutely mess up cruisers, but against any battleship, you want to be aiming, you want to be looking to hit in their superstructure, and you're going to constantly rack up a couple of thousand damage per salvo, as you can see there. If they go broadside, just aim for their superstructure. If you look, I'm not aiming for the waterline. I'm aiming a little higher because that's exactly where you're going to get the penetration and the damage with these semi-armor piercing shells. And we've already done over 20k damage that quickly. Ooh, excuse me. So unfortunately the Goliath now has disappeared, so we're having a look around to see where our next victim is coming from. And oh, bit of luck, there's a King George. So paying attention to where those torpedoes go in. They don't look like they're going to come anywhere near us, so we're not overly bothered by them. Alright, our first salvo is a little off target. Our second salvo is probably going to be as well, because well, the shells take such a long time to get there, and we start hitting. And once you get your eye in with these guns, they're not as floaty as the Atlanta, but when you're firing at range, as you can see, you do have quite the arc. So the Goliath now comes back out from behind the island, so we're going to reverse, get ourselves in a better position to get all our guns firing, and we realise smoke screen's starting to run low, so probably not the best idea to go full broadside, but yeah, I do anyway, because why not? And we're just going to keep on peppering him. We have actually lost the battleship that he was engaged with, so we are going to become the priority target. So we're going to put it in forward and start turning, start maneuvering, and get ourselves bow tanking. Because yes, okay, so the bow's not the strongest. He missed his shots, so we know we've got a couple of salvos left to give before he can actually fire at us again. And we start taking shots from the rear, so we quickly change direction, and boom, there is kill number 1, and 42,000 damage already done in the first 5 minutes. We take a nasty hit from the back there, and we're going to concentrate on this New Orleans, because he's really close to us. He's a threat. We can't really get away and get hidden behind an island. But there we go. Look, consistent damage. Are we going to get a citadel? There we go. He's gone broadside, so broadside cruisers will eat citadels all day long. Another 4,000 from a salvo from 2 of the guns. 4,000. All right, 2,500. That wasn't the best. And one of our battleships manages to pick up the kill and finish him off. But we are on 69,000 damage already, and well, all right, we're using a repair kit, but we've still got, for the most part, all of our health, and we're gonna slowly push forward. It's pretty equal. All right, okay, we're only down by 3 where the enemy's down by 4, but here we go. We have a second gunite now coming in, but it's okay because we're fairly sneaky. So we're going to get our torpedoes away, and we're going to turn and hope he's not paying too much attention. As long as just keep on sailing in a straight line, can Eisenhower. Well, I'm debating, well, should I start shooting him? But I am over here by myself, so I'm probably I'm trying to remember what I did here, and I think I'm going to wait until my torpedoes get close. See, he's starting to turn from my torpedoes, so now I'm going to start firing at him to distract him. So, can we, like, look over here, pay attention to me, and don't pay attention to the incoming torpedoes, but unfortunately, they're going to miss. And we're struggling to hit our target, but you find that usually, because the shells do take quite a long time, it will take you, the first 2 salvos are basically guessing, trying to figure out exactly where the range is, and once you've got that in, then you're just gonna start absolutely slaughtering them. There's a video of me in the Fiji doing exactly the same thing to a Jean Bart, and people forget how powerful cruisers are. Yes, they don't do massive single salvo damage like your battleships, but these particularly with armor piercing, you can start to tick up some damage really quickly, and unsuspecting battleships who will focus on the other battleships and not realize exactly how much damage you're actually doing to them until it's too late. So 84,000. So that's all right, 15,000 damage. Could have been 1 salvo from a battleship, but we took minor damage in return, and we're trying to get back to our fellow teammates, because, well, taking on a gunite now solo in a Edinburgh is probably not the smartest idea. But we've got an island coming up, so we know we're safe to start firing some salvos, and he has just been distracted by I think that was our destroyer that took his attention away there. Jeez, all these bloody islands getting in my way. I want to fire my guns. Oh, I'm getting another salvo off. We are unspotted, so we're just going to take full advantage whilst he's behind that island. And it looks like he's facing off against one of our battleships at the moment. And he does have torpedoes in his way, in the way. Ooh, excuse me. But yeah, we're just going to continue. Look at that. Like, what was that? Like 4,000 damage from a salvo. And again, we're firing a salvo every 7.1 seconds. So this damage starts ticking up really fast. I think cruisers get a bad rap because people just, they don't realise that in the space that a battleship can fire. And, if you're unlucky, if you're lucky, you'll get 15, 20k from a citadel or 2. But if you're really unlucky, you're going to get, what, 1 or 2,000? Because of, accuracy and dispersion of the guns. But yet, cruisers, they just constantly rack up damage. And although not a single one of our salvos has done more than 4,000 damage, we're on 94,000 damage already. And we've got a bit more damage to farm. Again, spoiler alert you there. So we start hitting the King George, even though he is currently hidden behind an island. And as you can see, I've turned forward and pushing. I want to get into closer range because there are only 3 other ships, enemy ships left. We've got 5 ships, so the advantage is purely ours. Another thing to point out is, if you've noticed, in a cruiser, particularly a long-range cruiser like the Edinburgh, you don't want to be the first thing the enemy's shooting at. You want to be in the second line, so you want to be behind your battleships, praying that your battleships have moved forward. That is, of course. And there we go. We just lost our Fuso, making this a 3 versus 4. But I'm going to do so much damage to this King George before he can actually shoot back at me. We're not overly bothered. We're still sailing completely broadside to get all our guns blazing. And there we go. He takes. Oh, that shot didn't come from us. He deletes our York, which is unfortunate. That now makes this a 3 versus 3. But of course, he's still waiting for his guns to reload, and we're going to take advantage of that. And we do have this island coming up, so I think if we don't kill him, we're going to be safe. But well, we finish him off anyway. Oh, here we go, big boy, Jean Bart. And please, anyone explain why my battleship, who was on pretty much no health at that point, why he didn't just ram him? It's the end of the game. I'm not going to complain because that's going to give me a bit more time to farm a bit more damage. But yeah, obviously you don't want to be taking on battleships sort of in direct combat. Ideally you can, if you cut away like I was doing. If you keep on maneuvering your ship to put off their aim, it will definitely assist you. But you don't want to be the priority target of anything in a British ship, and that is key to survival. And there we go, crack our high caliber and we break, wait for it, not quite. I was going to say we break 130,000 damage, but it's going to take me a little bit longer than that. So because we are getting shot at by the Attigo as well, and we want to finish off this Jean Bart because he's a bit of a threat, we use our smoke screen. Okay, unfortunately our destroyer decides to use his smoke screen at exactly the same time, and that means we're temporarily blind. Come on, Benson, pop out the smoke. Do it for the team. You're sneaky, you can get away with it. And there we go, the Jean Bart has reappeared. Thankfully our Benson opens up his guns, meaning the Jean Bart is going to not pay attention to us. And there we go. See, it's just every time you fire these guns you're going to do a couple of thousand damage, and every 7 seconds that adds up really, really fast. I'd like to see more cruisers being played, just because, and apart from the Chapayev and the Kutchesov spamming HE, this is damage that cannot be repaired. So it's just myself, the Benson and the Attigo left. We have managed to survive pretty much entirely intact, but so has the enemy Attigo. By the looks of it, our destroyer stopped firing. He doesn't fancy eating a bunch of HE as we pick up our Confederate medal, and that's 153,000 damage. I think if you're doing your ship's hit points in damage, you're doing all right. You're not sucking for your team. So as long as I've done 31,000 damage, I'm putting out more damage than the enemy are getting off me, which I consider, if you're doing that, you're good. In any ship, if you're hitting 100,000 damage, you're doing really well. 150,000 is a ridiculous game, and you should be incredibly proud. Like I am of this, and this Attigo is showing me so much broadside. And if you notice now, we have switched. We're definitely firing for the waterline, and there we go. We pick up another Citadel. Come on, finish him off. He's looking at us like we're lunch, but there we go. And we pick up the kill, so that is a, what was that, 177,000 damage, a Confederate medal, 181, a Confederate medal, and the high caliber. Hope you enjoyed that replay, and well, until next time, take care.